Welcome back to Demented Cast. I know that feels really weird to say because it's been almost exactly 3 years. Our last episode was obviously in August of 2022, August 30th to be exact. That was our plugged in episode. It was a strange one. I went back and re-listened to it recently. We were on one that episode, that's for sure. But we are here is I, the Nomad Gamer, with my co-host Aaron. Aaron, how have you been the last 3 years? We chat on and off briefly, but I don't know. We haven't sat here in this call in almost 3 years. Tell the people what's been going on in life.
I worked for a horrible design firm, led to dominoes falling. I ended up falling in love, got myself into my first convention. Then after that, I built my brand up, so I pretty much been doing work for a lot of people over the past 3 years. I just been a busy bee in between that time, and also I worked on our good friend Nomad's book, which is available right now. Go buy it. It's on Amazon, Hulu, wherever you get it.
Amazon, Hulu. I think you can buy books on Hulu. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate the shout out. Yes, it is available digitally on Amazon, and you can also purchase a physical copy from both an Etsy shop and Barnes & Noble as well. If you purchase it directly from Etsy, I will sign that copy, but I don't exactly have a way to sign it if you order it directly from Barnes & Noble. It's called The Ancients Book 1. But continue, Aaron. I apologize for stealing the segment from you.
Outside of that, I just been navigating through this almost dystopian-like territory with AI and everything. I mean, I had to send a cease and desist recently to that design firm because they were trying to use AI with my work, and I wasn't too happy about it.
Damn. Fuck. Hey, can I just say, it might sound like a hot take in 2025. Fuck AI though. Feels like I should disclaimer it for some reason. I don't know why, but fuck AI.
Man, it's like AI should be used to do medical things in medicine, but hey, people want to use it to make money. And you know what? Money's not going to go once we transition from this earth.
Yeah. So it's very capitalist of them.
Yeah. Yeah, very capitalist. We had 2 presidents in between. We had not one but 2.
Yeah. We had 2 one while we were doing, and then we went through we went through that term, and it's now on a new one. Damn, I didn't realize that until just now. It just didn't click.
Yeah. Yeah, a bunch of the shows that we talked about in the past episodes ended last year, so that. And holy crap, in the MCU, the MCU started phase 5, and we were at the beginning of phase 5 in our last episode.
Were we even in phase 5 at that point? Because that was 2022. I'm pretty sure we were still in phase 4.
Doctor Strange. So yeah. Oh yeah, the episode didn't came out.
Yeah, that one. Same with The Last of Us one, which.
Oh yeah,
I had those recordings. Well, the Strange one was more so because of the audio issue that we experienced in the recording of it, and so I just let it kind of float off in the ether. The Last of Us, I guess I can kind of get into what I've kind of been up to while telling this story, but when we stopped doing Demented Cast, it wasn't really necessarily anything to do with Aaron and I just not being hey, it wasn't no malicious where either of us were hey, fuck you, I'm done with this. It's just we both got very busy. I've changed jobs 3 times now in between. The last episode of Demented Cast we did, and when we were doing it before and we did that Last of Us, I started to get this weird feeling of just imposter syndrome while doing it, and just didn't feel right. Nothing about the episodes that we had in the tug just felt genuine. I felt like I kept having to be too performative with it. And so I kind of let the podcast go for a little while. Focus back and reel myself in from trying to do so many of these different projects that just kept falling by the wayside. And I finished the book. It's a book I've been writing for like 5 years. It's something very near and dear to my heart because it's fantasy. And that is kind of my niche. Something I'll go into more in one of our later topics about a game that's come out recently. But yeah, it's been a interesting 2, almost 3 years since we stopped doing the show, and I think both Aaron and I are back into a place where we both feel pretty good. I would say, and I think it's just a good time to start doing this again. I missed it. I'm here. I'm ready.
Yeah, we're ready, man. We're ready to take over the world, man. Plus, right before, in between, we actually did a whole new logo and everything. We were like, we're gonna do this, and then life got in the way. So if you're watching Demented Cast, you see the new logo.
Yeah, I think it was like, it went up like Homie Talk. I think when we did Homie Talk is when the new logo went up. So like, there was only 2 episodes that came out with it. So yeah, there wasn't even like enough time for it to really marinate back then.
Yeah, so we are officially back. We are in a good place. We're putting in work. Like, the work I've been putting in has been insane, and the work Nomad's been putting in is insane. Like, his book is fantastic. Like, I can't wait till we talk a little bit about the book. So yeah, let's get the show on the road.
You're too
man.
kind. You're too kind, man. All right, so our anything else real quick for like an opening statement or anything besides we're back. Demented Cast is here. It's not going anywhere, I promise. Unless, I guess, I mean, knock on wood, I don't think either of us are dying anytime soon.
No, I'm gonna make it to 150.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna make it to 150. So
hell yeah. If I'm able to, I will be doing this until my hair is gray and I can barely walk and have to have assistance for every little thing I do in life. But
we're gonna have robot assistants by that time.
As shitty as it technically would be, I pray that if we're going to continue down this dystopian capitalist society, I pray for the day I get to live Cyberpunk 2077. Like, if I have to live in a world like this, let me have my cybernetics at least, please. Like, let me have my mantis blades in my arm. That'd be cool.
Yes, and we'll be able to have the brain dance or whatever.
Oh, I love brain dances. They're so fun. Also, creepy as hell. Our first topic that I kind of want to talk about, I don't know if Aaron's been playing it. I know, Aaron, recently you started finally playing Baldur's Gate 3 after 2 years. I know you've been enjoying that. You finally understand everybody's love of our lovely girl, Shadowheart. But I've been playing a new game recently, something we'll talk more about later. But I kind of want to give my first impressions on Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It is a new turn-based game. It has a real-time parry and dodge mechanic. And this game is fantastic. Like, I don't think I have a really single negative. No, that's not true. I do have one negative with the game, and it's the fact that there is no manual save in the game.
Really? No manual save?
No manual save. But if that is my only negative I can find currently with this game, Sandfall Interactive has just absolutely knocked it out of the park. They're a very new studio. 3 of the developers are ex-Ubisoft developers who, in previous interviews, have talked about how they kind of got bored while they were working at Ubisoft, so they left and kind of started to do their own stuff. And their first game is here, and it's absolutely a smash hit. It's already sold 2 million copies. It's the I guess I'll just kind of go into it and make it our first gaming topic, but it is now the highest rated game on Metacritic, surpassing both Zelda Ocarina of Time and previously mentioned, and my personal favorite game of all time, Baldur's Gate 3. The voice acting in this game has been nothing short of stellar. Really landing a nice parry, and getting that counter attack is so satisfying. And just like in Baldur's Gate 3, as I mentioned before, Shadowheart, the reason I kind of brought her up is her voice actress, Jennifer English, is in Clair Obscur playing Mael, who is absolutely such a wonderful character, but also Jennifer English has done a phenomenal job in the voice acting department, to the point where I don't think there's going to come another character this year in a game that is going to surpass what she has been able to do. I love that Neo won in 2023 for Baldur's Gate as Astarion. I do. I get why he won. There's a moment, I don't know if you've beaten the game yet, Aaron, so I won't. I'm trying not to spoil it.
I have.
You have?
I just got into Act 2, so.
Okay. So there's a moment with Astarion in Act 3, I won't spoil it. It genuinely, made me get choked up. Neil does a fantastic job in that scene, and so I understand why he won. It was very disappointing, though, not to see Jennifer English at least get nominated with him that year. So I pray that this year we not only see her get nominated, but she wins that category at the Game Awards later this year.
All right, we're gonna see, because I don't think there's any games that have matched the competition. I mean, a bunch of the games that just recently came out for me, Darkest Dungeon 2 has been a complete disappointment. I got bored and I went back to playing Darkest Dungeon 1. The game is cool. It's just too much fluff in between for me.
Yeah. Almost like a Ubisoft game. There's too much in between that you're like, why am I doing this? It doesn't mean anything. I'm just going from point A to point B. I should put it on here, but I have been playing a little bit of AC Shadows. Clair Obscur has kind of taken my attention from every other game that I'm currently playing. So I haven't gone back to Shadows, because at the point in Shadows that I'm in, I am so fed up with Ubisoft in this open world shtick that they have going on currently, because their open worlds are some of the most boring I've ever experienced. It is a lot of fetch quests. Go ahead.
They should have gone with Sucker Punch Blueprint, to be honest. Man, they were killing it with Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm really excited about the next one in the game, which has
Ghost
your
of Yote.
favorite person in it.
My girl Erika Ishii. I love her. She's great.
Oh, yeah,
it does pain me that she is going to be the protagonist in that game, because I know she's going to deliver in that department, but she is also going up against Jennifer English, who I absolutely adore, and I just gushed over her performance in Clair Obscur. So knowing that those two are going to be competing this year for me personally just hurts, because I love both of them. They're both wonderful people.
Yeah, and plus the only game that might bring some competition is the 2D platformer Marvel's Cosmic Invasion, who is developed by the same developer as TMNT Shredder's Revenge, and it looks fantastic. I think that's probably the only competition, and that's not saying much.
I would disagree. I think this year has been absolutely fantastic for games. Right now, Split Fiction right now is still my game of the year. Hazelight, once again, has just absolutely knocked it out of the park with a fun co-op platformer. But I streamed my second time playing it with a friend, and the first time I played it, there's a moment at the end of the game with the character, because if you don't know, Split Fiction is about two writers, Mio and Zoe. They've never been published before, and they get an offer letter from a big publishing house that their work is going, they want to like help them publish their work. And when they get there, the big CEO of the company has this machine that allows you to step in and basically live through your story. And they come to find out that they're actually, what they're doing with the machine is they're stealing ideas from these authors and trying to take them for their own. Already, as an author myself, and as someone who just finally got their first book published this year, and this game coming out in the same year, in the same month, obviously this one hit me a lot closer to home, because I know the feeling of both what these two authors are going through. And one of them is a science fiction, the other is a fantasy author. And so both times I played it, I decided to play as Zoe, and I'm so glad I did, because her story hit me on such an emotional beat that have not felt in a long time. Like, Cyberpunk sure got me very, like, there was emotional moments in that game that were great, but not to this extent. Like, they're emotional just because I had built up a relationship with, like, those characters in Cyberpunk, whereas this one was not so much because I built up a relationship while playing this character. It was the relationship that character has and the conclusion to that relationship is something that I felt personally from my own lived experiences. I've talked in the past on the podcast about my stepfather and kind of my own like guilt from that experience, and so Zoe has something very similar in her life. And so I was on stream and we got to that moment in the game and I was just crying, like full on crying. It wasn't like a little sniffle or like little kind of single teardrop. No, I was full on crying. I had to take off my glasses and wipe my eyes and stuff and really like recollect myself. So right now, for me personally, Split Fiction is at the top. But I think a few other games that have come out this year that are also going to be in that conversation are things like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Monster Hunter, was it Wilds? And then we just had Doom, The Dark Ages come out. So, which I have not played because, again, I've been sucked into Clair Obscur, so I haven't even started Doom yet. And then South of Midnight also came out this year, and that's another fantastic game. I don't think it'll, like, by the time we get through the year with the rest of the games coming out, I don't know if South of Midnight, unfortunately, will still be in that conversation, which sucks because it's very cool. I love the world design in that game, and the voice acting in that game is also another, like, phenomenal experience. So this year has been really, really good. Really good for Game Pass too. I mean, what, like 4 of those games I just mentioned? No, 3 of them. Another 4th one that I will get to later on my notes, but 3 of those games that I just mentioned are all on Game Pass right now. So you pay, if you have a PC, you pay $10 a month. You have 3 fantastic, stellar games to play. Highly, highly recommend all of them. Well, I guess I can't really recommend Doom. I haven't played it yet.
I think that's a game that I might try with the Game Pass, because I have Game Pass and I'm just letting it just pass by. And it's like, I got Steam, but Game Pass, I definitely need to play a few of those games. I definitely need to play Starfield.
Don't play Starfield.
I started it and then I...
Just leave it.
Yeah.
Just leave it.
Yeah, the characters aren't as interesting. There definitely is no Shadowheart / fire chick.
Karlach. Best girl.
Karlach, yeah. Yeah, I might have to romance Karlach in my second playthrough because she's like the home girl that you always wanted to have. So it's I
have a Kung Fu Kenny playthrough that I started with a friend. We didn't end up finishing that one, but like we made it sometime last year, and so I made the Dream Visitor look like Drake, and then I made obviously Kung Fu Kenny look like Kendrick. And in that playthrough, I was romancing Karlak, and let me tell you, her romance is top notch, absolutely stellar.
All right,
I need to finish that.
We need to do a Demented Cast playthrough of that. Like
Demented Cast playthrough.
Kenny. Yeah, I guess I would have to pick a random rapper. I guess I'll make a Future.
Make Future.
Make a Warlock. Yeah.
Not The Weeknd. Some
No,
people
not
like
The Weeknd.
some people like to say The Weeknd's a rapper, and he's not. He's not, people.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I unfortunately saw the Weeknd movie.
Oh no. Okay.
With Jenna Ortega.
Let's. I'm going to go see it. I gotta get some things figured out in life before I can, but I'm gonna go see it. We're gonna save our thoughts on that movie until both of us watch it, and we might just do a like small, just one episode, just us talk about it, because I've seen a couple clips now. Oh no, I don't know who told Abel that he needs to act, but no, get that man.
He was in Uncut Gems, and he served his purpose in that movie, even though he was playing himself in that movie.
Maybe that's what he needs to do. If he's gonna show up in a movie, just play yourself. Because this is now 2. He's gone 2 for 2. He went back to back because he did The Idol or whatever it's called for HBO for Warner Brothers. It was like the extreme version of Euphoria, and that got banned. So actually, no, it wasn't Max. It was on something else. I don't know. One of our listeners can correct me. Message me on Blue Sky, because fuck Twitter and fuck Elon.
Hey, we're both on Blue Sky, by the way, so
yeah.
Small plug-in.
Small plug. There is also an official Nomadic Media Blue Sky account and a account for the Ancients as well. All right.
Hey, I need to follow those two.
And then, so keeping in theme with talking about Game Pass, though, something happened on the release week for Clair Obscur, which a lot of people were like trying to say like, oh, it was really kind of fucked up because it's gonna overshadow Clair. But Aaron, you probably know where I'm going with this. Oblivion Remastered has been rumored and leaked throughout the last like year or so, but we never got fully like concrete information on it. And 2 days before Clair Obscur was supposed to drop, they announced the Oblivion Remaster was dropping that same day. For me, this was amazing news. Fun fact, Aaron, Oblivion was my first ever RPG growing up. I played it on the Xbox 360 before that thing got the red ring, unfortunately. Very sad day that was, because I missed my Xbox. It was great. But yeah, so we got an Oblivion Remastered, completely built from the ground up in Unreal Engine 5. Looks absolutely amazing and plays just how I remember it back in, what was it, like 2006? Or something like that. I will say, because it's an Unreal, the going from the original look in the creation engine back then to looking at the characters and how they look in Unreal, some of the races in the Elder Scrolls series look a little weird. Like Argonians specifically, because my first ever character I ever made in Oblivion was an Argonian. So I was like, you know what? We're going to treat this like we're going back to the good old days. I'm making that original character again. And as I was doing it, I was like, he just looks off. There's something about the way they are, unfortunately, like their like heads are shaped, that in Unreal, because it's such a different art style versus the creation engine, it just gives it this eerie, uncomfortable feeling, almost like uncanny valley vibes. But outside of that, I mean, it's a very small nitpick. It's just something I noticed. It's not that big of a deal. Outside of that, though, Shadow dropped. It's absolutely amazing. You could tell they really took the time to rebuild this game. However, there's nothing really new to it. It's not something like a Final Fantasy VII remake or rebirth where like they're adding stuff to it and like exploring more and adding more to the original. It's just a remaster. I mean, it is technically a remake. I think I understand why they chose the term remastered, though, in this case, because outside of the aesthetics, it's the same game. Whereas,
including all the bugs, so...
Oh, are there bugs? I haven't... So, I said, you know what? I've played Oblivion before, and so when Clair came out, I just switched over to Clair Obscur. I was like, I'll come back to Oblivion eventually after I get rid of some of these games that I have to still play that came out this year, because that backlog is insane right now. But you've experienced bugs?
Like the bugs from the original game, like all the quirky glitches, like they left all that alone. So it's literally the same game, just with a new coat of paint. So it's literally a remaster, not really a remake. They just made the same game, just made it look pretty.
Yeah. So, because I saw like that was one of the conversations I was seeing before I eventually just, once again, just kind of cut off Twitter completely, and I still had my account open. That's one of the conversations I kept seeing, was everybody going, oh, they just confused the terminology again with remastered and remake. And I think in this case, it's one of those things where at first, yeah, I felt that, but after playing the game and experiencing it and going, oh, it's just Oblivion again. Like, there's nothing new to this. The same, like, quirky NPCs or, like, dialogue has just been put back into the game, but better. Like, they gave it a new face paint. So the remastered tag makes a lot of sense for this one. Switching gears, though, from praising Xbox in their Game Pass, because I'm sorry, listen, I don't know if you've seen it, Aaron. There's a lot of people that want to talk down on Game Pass, saying, oh, I don't want to rent my games, I want to own my games. Well, if you know anything about how games work nowadays, especially digitally, most of the time you are not buying a game. A lot of games now have in their terms of service that you are not buying it digitally, you are buying a license to be able to play it, and therefore the studio or company publishing it or making it still owns full rights to it, which means they can pull it from the storefront and your library whenever they want to. It's a topic that I want to go into. I'm not going to today because we got a lot of shit to talk about, and I don't want this podcast episode to be 5 hours, 6 hours long. And I'm sure Aaron doesn't want that today. I'm sure both of us do still want to have some type of like night to Monday night to enjoy. But I do have to talk about Xbox, unfortunately following in Nintendo's footsteps in raising prices on all their consoles and peripherals for those consoles. Which really sucks, because we are 5 years into this console generation. Aaron, I don't know how much you know about console generations. Typically, they're like 6 to 7 years. And
man,
so,
it used to be 10.
It used to be 10. And then, you know, as we get up there and technology just starts improving faster and faster, those generations and stuff start to become shorter and shorter. So a lot of times it becomes between like 6 and 7 years. So we're just about past that halfway point on this generation. Or no, we are past that halfway point on this generation. So here about a year or so, I wouldn't be surprised if we start getting a little bit of like nuggets about the next console generation. So to see Xbox claim that we are increasing prices due to what is happening currently, like in the world, with the tariffs and everything else and inflation, is upsetting, because now the Xbox Series X 1 terabyte is going up The Xbox Series S is going up. The controllers are going up. Their games might follow suit. We'll see. Let me kind of like scroll through here. I don't believe there was anything about games in this Verge article when it dropped, but right now it's just so far the consoles, and like people are struggling out here. Like most people have to work 2 to 3 jobs, at least here in America, to just make ends meet, pay their rent, and put food on the table. And a lot of households have kids, and kids are expensive. I don't know if you know that, Aaron. Kids are apparently very, very expensive.
Yeah.
But like,
well,
go ahead.
So, so this whole thing about console prices being off the roof. Apparently, this is not the first time this happened in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about your lifetime. This happened with the Sega Mega CD, aka Sega CD, and that was pretty much a flop. And you want to know why?
Why
Because
is that?
PlayStation came out and they did a checkmate and it was like, oh, it's $100. Buy our stuff. And Sega was in a...
Oh, yeah. And they basically
Yeah,
just completely stomped them out.
Yeah, so I have a feeling that either PlayStation's going to do it again, because it seems like history repeats itself, and it looks like, I have a feeling that PlayStation might do that again with a different type of PlayStation. That
They
plays
could.
PS5 games and all that stuff.
They could. I feel like the difference in these scenarios is what's happening right now in the world. The like level of inflation that we're seeing currently and have been seeing for the last 3 to 4 years. I feel like that's the only difference in those situations, and I personally just don't trust PlayStation to be that smart. Like the PlayStation now, the version of PlayStation we have now versus what we had back then. I see them going, oh, okay, let's see. People are going to be really upset for about 8 hours. Everything seems to be dying down. Nobody really talks about it now. A lot of people kind of move on. I haven't seen anything on it hurting Xbox sales yet. Whether it's hurt or helped, I haven't seen anything like that yet. So I feel like PlayStation is playing it safe, and they're kind of watching before they make a move. Because I don't know if you remember back at E3 E3, how we miss you. But it was the E3 when they were getting ready to reveal the Xbox One and PS4. You remember Xbox had the whole DRM thing where you had to always be online, and like your Xbox would ping your internet every like 30 minutes or so to make sure you were still connected. And like,
oh yeah,
they got absolutely destroyed by fans that were like, this is bullshit. Like there's people, especially here in America, because again, we're both American, like we don't fully know like the infrastructure and how that is in like other countries, but at least here in America, most places have terrible infrastructure for internet. I live in Nebraska. I mean, I live in Omaha, which is still a city, so it's a little bit better, but like there's a lot of small towns here in Nebraska, a lot of rural areas, and out there it's very hard to get internet access, and you're often having to get the lowest of low internet, and so your stuff is constantly going out, and it takes forever for it to get fixed. And that's something that just happens all over the U.S. I know a little bit for other countries that like a lot of them also suffer in the same boat, and so Xbox backpedaled back then, and they're like, okay, we're getting rid of that, we're not doing that. And I remember PlayStation was also going to announce the same thing, because we got the Xbox press conference for the Xbox One, and then I think it was a day or 2 days later we were getting PlayStations where we were supposed to see the PS4 for the first time. And there were insiders that were saying, no, PlayStation was absolutely going to announce the same exact thing, saw the backlash that Xbox got, and then backpedaled. came out, said nothing about it, and just moved on. And so, therefore, PlayStation and the PS4 had a better leap forward because they didn't have that negative press. So I feel like that's what they're doing now. They're sitting quiet. They're seeing what it actually does. Seeing if it's just going to be some internet outrage for like a day, die down, and if it doesn't really affect Xbox sales numbers. Because again, Xbox also at this point doesn't care about their console sales. They're like, hey, as long as you're paying for Xbox Game Pass, that's what we care about. We want those numbers.
Yep.
I feel like if they see that there's really little effect on Xbox sales, we could see a PlayStation increase as well. Because don't forget, the PlayStation we have now are the same people that are charging us like $10-20 to do a PS4 to PS5 upgrade for a game we already bought full price.
Yeah.
So they're definitely a lot more scummy now than they were back then, and that's where I think, I don't know, if we still had that PlayStation from back then, yeah, I could absolutely see them going, oh, you're gonna increase your prices? Hey guys, PS5, the base ones, not the pros or the slims, base ones, we're gonna knock off $100. We're gonna take off $50 from the slims, and we're gonna knock down a little bit off of the pros. Like, I could see the PlayStation back then doing that.
Yeah, but thank goodness I converted to the PC Master Race, because I don't gotta deal with that.
I know, right? I still have my PS5.
Right.
It collects dust most days. I'll probably end up selling it to probably a family member to get some extra cash right now. But yeah, I built my new PC last year, and when I built it, I think I told her, I was like, oh man, it's so nice. It's so nice having a like good rig now. Because I don't know if you remember, Aaron, my last one, the amount of issues I had with it because it was just old. It was dated. It was not fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I converted to PC when I got this awesome laptop. This Ryzen or Victus. Yeah, this Victus laptop. So makes
Nice.
work 10 times easier.
Speeding
Games run
quick.
smoothly. Yep.
What are you, just wondering, a little off topic, but like, what are you getting in that laptop when you're playing Baldur's Gate? Are you running like ultra or high with a like solid
Ultra.
like ultra, and you're hit? Do you know what your frames are hitting?
It is 112 frames per second.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's what I love to hear. I will be honest with you. You just based on how it sounds, if you're doing that and you're just getting into Act 2, you will probably have to drop down a couple settings when you get to Act 3, because Act 3 is in like I splurged a little bit on my GPU, but so it actually is doing pretty well in Act 3, but there are definitely times even with my rig that like in Act 3 I can just watch it drop to like 100 to then 90, then back up above 100. I'm like, okay. Yeah, this is a lot. Because it's just, there's so much happening in that act. But staying in the realm of Xbox, I got one more thing of Xbox news for you. Aaron, did you ever play Gears of War back in the day?
No, I was a PlayStation kid at the time, so I was more into Mass Effect and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
And also, yeah,
And
those
platformers, and yeah. That's kind of how I was. So I didn't get to experience Gears. And it's not currently on PC or Game Pass. So like Aaron and I have no way to experience that. But Aaron, what if I told you that you could finally play Gears of War 1 on your PC on that brand new beautiful piece of hardware you just picked up? What would you say to that?
I'm listening.
Okay.
Like, is it free?
It will be
I'm not
because
playing okay.
it will be because it's not only coming to PC, but it's also going to be on Xbox consoles. It's going to be on PS5 consoles and on Game Pass this August.
Oh wow, August? Wow, that's quick.
we are getting a Gears of War remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it, built from the ground up with crossplay, multiplayer, and co-op, which is huge because most remasters of games like this get remade, but they don't bring their online features over. Because a lot of times it's really hard to try to do that, but I think because this is being built from that ground up, they're able to like bring back that multiplayer. But it's gonna have 4K resolution, 60 FPS in the campaign, 120 FPS for multiplayer, HDR, Dolby Vision, for VRR, 4K assets and remastered textures, enhanced post-processing of visual effects, improved shadows, reflections, super resolution, anti-aliasing, zero loading screens during campaign. Like, this is massive, and the screenshots that we got comparing the original to this remaster, it looks stunning. I can't wait. As somebody who never got to experience it and has had friends who have told me how much they love the Gears franchise, I'm so excited. This is one where I will be putting so much time into, I think, because it just, yeah. And it's on Game Pass. Like, I don't know about you. Things are a little tight right now on the money front, so Game Pass is definitely paying for itself. Just in this year alone, I have 3 games on Game Pass currently that would have cost me above $150, and I paid $10. So, and now we're getting one in August. So, from a critically acclaimed series too. So, but that's enough with Xbox. We've talked about them too long. I won't glaze Game Pass anymore on this episode, probably.
That might be the name of the episode, Glazing Xbox.
Glazing Game Pass. Not Xbox.
Game Pass.
We're still mad at Xbox for raising prices. Hey, Aaron, are you a Nintendo fan?
Yes, I am.
What if I told you a Switch 2 was coming out? Would you be excited?
I would just groan because I just got my Switch not too long ago.
Okay.
Probably a year and a half.
What if I told you it was going to be more powerful?
I got my PC, man. I just wanted to play Mario Party and all those types of games because they're not available online.
What if I told you Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, and Elden Ring, and a new From Software game that's going to be exclusive were all going to be on that console?
Everything but the FromSoft game. I already got it on the PC. And it seems like from the specs, it's like a diet PC.
It's a PS4 Pro.
There are a few games. Yeah, PS4. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But Donkey Kong looks cool.
Yeah.
Mario Kart looks nice, but...
Does it? It just looks like Forza to me.
Yeah, and plus, when you get the game, you get Mario Kart with it, so at least you don't gotta pay $80 to get a game for it. So you get a game,
or $90 if you want to waste money, an extra $10 just to have a cartridge that doesn't actually have any data on it.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, you didn't hear about that. So Switch 2 games going forward, if you buy the physical cartridge, they will no longer have any of the data on the cartridge. You will insert the cartridge into your console, and it will basically send a digital code and then start downloading that. And then that cartridge is now useless.
Oh my god, so parents is gonna have a very hard time with their kids with this. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. But not only that are you going to be spending $80 to $90 for these Switch 2 games, you're also going to be spending another $450 for the actual console itself.
Bruh, no.
For the Switch 2 to finally come out in a year like this, when everything is so expensive, people are really, really struggling all around the world, to drop a console like the Switch 2 that is not even keeping up with the current PS5 that we have, which would be the PS5 Pro and the Xbox Series X, and even like NVIDIA's lowest tier GPUs, you really misunderstand the plot of what's going on. But the really shitty thing to me is that Nintendo fans are just gonna let them get away with this, as they do every time Nintendo makes a stupid decision.
Yeah, this ain't it, Nintendo. I think, honestly, I think this is their biggest mistake since closing down the 3DS store. Honestly, they should have converted to their current Switch so we can play some of those games, because now those games are worth a fortune now because of it. And I'm still sad I can't play like the first Bravely Default game. Now I gotta wait till the Switch 2 to get its remake. You know, it's crazy.
So the news gets better though. By better, I mean it gets worse. Nintendo updated their user agreement. I don't know if you've seen this yet. Maybe you saw it come across your timeline. I'm not sure. But Nintendo updated the user agreement to say that you no longer will own your console. When you buy that Switch 2 finally later this year for that nice $450 crisp dollar bill, you will not own that console. Nintendo still owns the rights. You're paying, much like I brought up the digital game licensing issues that we have had for the last few years that most people don't even know about. You are now paying a license to essentially rent the console, and if you make any kind of modifications that are not Nintendo modifications, or like things that they would allow, they have every right to brick your console. And so then you have a $450 paperweight, and you will not be able to do anything with it. Because, and I'm glad I brought up that E3 Xbox One situation, because you will need to be connected to the internet to play all your games.
Man, that sounds just dirty business from Nintendo. And that's rare because we don't usually hear too many dirty business ventures from Nintendo. They usually stand on business.
They stand on business in a Yakuza way.
Yeah, but we're not trying to have the Yakuza on our doorsteps.
Oh, you're right. Nintendo, you always do really great. Just ignore the last thing I said. Please don't take it down this episode. So sorry.
Oh no! They're gonna have us add an extra 30 minutes of us glazing Nintendo and saying that their business practices is great.
You know, we already had a World War Nintendo episode before. Should I name this World War Nintendo 2? Is this our second World War against Nintendo?
Yes, pretty much.
WWN 2. That sounds like a WWE like event night.
Yeah, that does.
But yeah, so Nintendo fucked up. Well, I can say they fucked up all I want. You and I can both be honest. Nintendo fans are still gonna buy it. They're still gonna play it.
Yeah, they're still gonna play it. TBH is gonna roast the hell out of them. You know, extra content for all of us because we're going to roast them, and we're still gonna buy it. People are gonna buy Tears of the Kingdom again, except it's gonna be $20 more this time.
Yep. I forgot about that whole thing with the new version of the old games and stuff, and paying more for those. Which, to be fair, can't clown Nintendo too much on that. They're not the first people to do that. PlayStation started doing it first, and they're just kind of following in footsteps from PlayStation. But yeah. Oh, Cyberpunk 2077, by the way, I don't know if you saw the demo version that they had let people play on the Switch 2, which people in the video were trying to glaze it. That wasn't hitting above 40 FPS. I don't know about you, if you've ever had to try experience Cyberpunk under 60 FPS, it's not a good time.
Well, as somebody that is in the animation industry, I'm used to things that are 12 FPS and all that stuff. So I am used to it. A lot of people who don't got that type of eyes or ain't as down in the creative field as I am, yeah, it'll probably be an eyesore. So,
I mean, I guess for like in your shoes though, like when you're looking at most things that are in like only using like 12 frames or 20 frames, usually it's like an artistic decision to do so, right?
Or no. So usually on TV, the average frames is 24 frames per second.
Yeah, I know that.
Through smaller screens and stuff like that, iPads and stuff like that, it's usually 12.
Mm-hmm.
And usually small screens like that, like watches, Apple watches and stuff like that, the frames are even lower.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's lightning fast, but in reality, it's just lower frames.
Right, but
when you have it on bigger screens, it gets more complicated.
Exactly, but that's what I mean is like there's a difference between like it having to be set to that because of like the screens and the power that you're putting behind everything else. That is all working together. So like it may be 24 frames, but it's 24 frames on something that can only is necessarily built to be that. Whereas like with a video game, especially a game like Cyberpunk, where like you're intended to experience it at a higher frame rate. So when it starts to dip in those lower frames and it becomes very choppy, it then leads to a like worse experience overall.
Yeah, and plus we're getting a port, which means that there's potential for more bugs. And
oh yeah, it's not even.
There's no telling. There's no telling because there's still bugs in the versions that we play.
Yeah,
but it's not as bad.
Not bad. It's a lot better. I actually don't experience as many, but every once in a while one will like creep in. I'm like, ugh. There's some funny ones though.
I still get a
nowadays. It's usually
I still get
funny.
a T-pose.
You still get a T-pose?
Yeah, I get a T-pose. Yeah, I still get a T-pose or two.
Nice. I don't ever get T-poses anymore. Oh, I miss it. Yeah. So right now, for me personally, probably for Aaron as well, over here in the Demented Cast side of things, it is more War Nintendo again. I'm pretty done with them. If you're gonna tell me I don't own my stuff, pirating isn't stealing. I'm just saying, and I was never gonna have ownership to it anyways.
Yeah. Sometimes we gotta sell the pirate seas, and boy, I admit I've been selling the pirate seas on a few things
Allegedly.
outside of games. Allegedly, especially on the music front. And when we get to the music front, oh boy, whew. Oh yeah, I got a few things to say about that.
Got a couple more things here in the gaming section. One of them, we've been talking about them a lot. The only real news that I have for PlayStation is they did a State of Play a few weeks back, but this State of Play was solely for one of my favorite franchises. The second game in this franchise is in my top 10 games of all time, but Borderlands 4 had its own State of Play where we got to see a bunch of gameplay for it, see some of the new weapons, new perks, new skill trees, new characters. And I'll be honest, Aaron, I don't know how big of a fan you are of Borderlands. I have not been too on board with the franchise in a while.
Oh boy. So I'm gonna be honest with you. The movie damn near killed.
Oh, the movie sucks.
Oh my god. I was like, man, this was supposed to inspire my love for the series. It did.
No. It's terrible. It's absolutely fucking awful. I love Ariana Greenblatt. She is a terrible Tiny Tina. She does not come off as psycho crazy. She comes off as bland and uninspired. Kate Blanchett, like everybody was just miscast in that movie. It's terrible. But going back to like the gaming side of Borderlands in that franchise, I hated pre-sequel. Borderlands 3 was okay, but it wasn't. It lacks some of the like same charm from the second game and the first game. I never played Tales of Borderlands. I know a lot of people really like Tales, but it's also not.
Oh, I love Tales.
Okay.
That's Tales is fantastic.
I have it now. It's on my Steam library now because I bought it for super cheap, and so I want to play it. There's just so many games right now. So
it's a nice 5-hour romp. You'll go through it very quickly.
Okay.
It's fun. Yeah.
So yeah, I plan on playing that eventually. But like in terms of like the main games and stuff, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, I was very hyped for, and it was a big letdown. Again, Borderlands has had this weird kind of identity crisis where they've either steered for like closer to the wacky, obnoxious side, or steered too close to the we're a looter shooter side. We have to be a looter shooter, and they missed what made both the first and second game so great. And I won't lie, just based off of what I saw in that state of play for Borderlands 4, we might be back. We genuinely might be back. It just, the guns looked fun. They've changed the loot dropping from Borderlands 3, because one of my biggest problems, and honestly everybody's biggest problems with Borderlands 3, is you got so much loot in like not just blues, like you would get epics and legendaries just like they were candy. And so it just made for this weird experience playing where like you would get a legendary and you're like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. Whereas like when you get a legendary in Borderlands 2, it's exciting because you're like, I haven't gotten one in 13 hours. I finally got a new legendary and it does all this cool thing. Like it just made for a better experience overall. And that's really what a looter shooter should be. When I find good loot like that, it should be once in a blue moon, because it's that much more impactful on you, the player. So they're making a lot of really great adjustments. A lot of the new movement looks very clean and fluid. I'm very excited to play this one. I don't know, did you get a chance to check out the state of play, Aaron? Do you got anything else to say?
Yes. Outside of that, I think Sony is doing the right thing with their games. Like, I'm more excited for the next Ghost series game, so like
where's our state of play for that, by the way?
Yeah, all we got is just a picture of the collector's edition. That was it.
Yeah.
From the state of play.
Oh, I do want that collector's edition, but I probably won't even have my PS5 when it comes out, so well, you and I will have to wait like a year to 2 years before
it hits our PC, so
yeah.
I'm willing to wait, and plus we'll get the completed game, so
that's true. If they decide to do DLC again, we'll be able to get that.
Yep. So I'm not upset about that. Plus, we'll be able to see more of the land, because I think this game takes place like 800 years after, or something like that.
Yeah, it's something like, or 5. Maybe 5.
Yeah, that's a long time.
So yeah. I'm excited for Ghost of Yote. I think Borderlands is coming out, and then a month later Ghost of Yote comes out. I'm really hoping that, because PlayStation did a state of play for Borderlands 4, because it's not technically their game, it's Gearbox and stuff and all that. I'm hoping that doesn't mean that like PlayStation got some deal to like lock something behind PlayStation's version of the game. I'm so tired of that. Can we leave this weird thing of we're locking specific things behind one platform? Can we leave that alone? Leave that back in like 2010. I don't want to see it anymore.
Yeah.
Give us the game. Give us the content you want to give us. That's all we need. And make sure there's passion there. The next thing I was going to mention is, I already kind of talked a lot about Split Fiction. I was going to do a quick little review for it. The last few things I just want to say about it is, again, if you have someone to play with, the nice thing is only one of you has to buy it. Because just like with It Takes Two and A Way Out, I believe A Way Out's the same way. I could be wrong. But just like those two games, only one of you has to buy the game. And then you send an invite code to your friend. They download another version on whatever platform. It's all cross-play. So if you have somebody who is on an Xbox, you're on a PC, or you're on a PlayStation, you can still get that friend pass version of Split Fiction from them and still play with them. And just like It Takes Two and stuff, it's all split screen no matter what, so you can always see what your friend's doing at the same time. And the final like boss battle of this game is the part I really wanted to talk about here, because that was some of the coolest level design and fighting I've ever seen in a video game. Little spoiler here about like how the level works is because you have that split down the middle for these games. In that final part, there is a portion where you're basically Zoe and Mio are running, and they have that line there. But as both characters, there are moments where you have to cross that line to be on the other side of the screen. So like there's going to be like an obstacle on Zoe's side, so Zoe has to race over to Mio's side so she doesn't die from the obstacle. And it just ramps up from there with like that thing of using the line in the middle effectively. And it's just, Hazelight is quickly becoming one of my favorite studios there is. They have not a single game they have done has missed. I think this is their fourth one. It started with Two Brothers, A Way Out, It Takes Two, and now Split Fiction. And I can't wait to see what they do next. Also, I don't know if you heard, Aaron, there was some players who beat like this really hard puzzle in the game. They were the first ones to do it, and they got a message from the game director, and they got invited out to the studio to get a first look at Hazelight's next game.
Oh, right. That's pretty cool. I wish more studios would do that.
Yeah. But you were going to say.
Also, they were talking about doing a movie about that, and I am extremely worried about that because they got Sydney Sweeney as one of the characters, and I've seen a whole bunch of her movies. She I don't think she got the charisma to get that role yet, but the movie could be fantastic. It's just that a lot of the movies I've seen, she was just, snooze fest.
Yeah, so it was weird that I saw Split Fiction get announced so quickly for a movie. But then I was like, you know what? Could be fun. And then they announced that Sydney Sweeney was getting cast, and I immediately said, just scrap the whole thing. It will, because here's the thing: you get an actress like Sydney Sweeney, who is right now in everything. She's one of the most sought after actresses in Hollywood right now. She's definitely going to be playing a lead, which means she's going to play Zoe. And out of every performance I've ever seen her do, I do not believe, just like you, I do not believe she has the capabilities to pull off Zoe.
Yeah, you gotta have somebody that's got hella charm, and
she does have charm, but she also needs to come off as very
she's
quirky.
Got the fist. Yeah, that's the only thing. It's like that's one of the main things about it. So it should be like probably one of the big things about that.
That's not the only movie though game that came out this year that gets a movie either, because Clair Obscur Expedition 33 also got announced to have a film in development. And this is worrying for a couple reasons. One, very quick to try to make it a live action film for this movie. Not every game needs it. Part of Split Fiction's charm is it's a video game. And that's another thing that scares me about that one, is like it's a platformer specifically, which is so interactive, and it really does a great job at pulling you, the player, in. When you lose that aspect, I don't know how much harder the game, like that story and everything and those characters are going to hit for an audience that is just passively sitting there watching it happen. Whereas me and my friend, we played Mio and Zio, or we played Mio and Zoe. Like we know them. We got to like be them. Like there is such a more impactful role for us in their story rather than sitting there passively just watching it happen.
And plus, with video game movies, it's either going to be a real mega hit or a miss. And you know, I saw Until Dawn.
Oof.
And
sorry.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna waste my time.
I was like, maybe this might be a fun schlocky film. It wasn't even that. It was just boring.
It's nothing like the game. Like it has no ties to the game at all. Which like when I heard that they weren't gonna really make a 1-to-1 back when like it first got announced, I was like, okay, that's not a bad thing necessarily. But then they started doing press for it and giving us more, and they said like oh no, we made our own thing completely. I'm like, then why is it called Until Dawn? Like the least you could have done is maybe use different characters, but like it still has ties to the game. Maybe what's her name? The blonde oh my god, she was in Heroes. The cheerleader.
Yeah, the cheerleader.
Like maybe make reference to her character from the game and make an Until Dawn movie that doesn't have her in it. I'd like do something like that. But you just made your own thing and then slapped the name Until Dawn onto it. Which is like one of the most underrated PS4 exclusives there is.
Yeah, so like, you know, you're either gonna pull a 1-to-1 faithful adaptation, or you're just gonna do what Paramount did with Sonic and just reference it, but it's not like
it's not that. It's its own thing still. Like it can still stand on its own.
Yeah. Yeah, it can still stand on its own, or you can play the middle ground with the Super Mario Brothers movie. And I heard they announced a sequel, and I'm actually excited about it.
I am too. I'm very excited for that. I enjoyed Super Mario a lot more than I thought I would. I did not think I was going to like it.
Yeah, I didn't think the Mario Bros. Would have as much heart as it did. Also, Minecraft. It was a fun schlocky film for what it was.
No.
And plus
we're going to disagree on Minecraft.
Jack Black. Like, it's a schlocky, fun movie. It's just schlock. It's not to, you know, get me to play the game. And plus, the Lava Chicken song by Jack Black is stuck in my head. It's an earworm.
Yeah, this is where we'll disagree because I can't stand that. I can't stand Minecraft. It was so bad. It was so bad. Also, for some reason, Jack Black and Jason Momoa have the like craziest sexual tension in that entire movie.
Oh yeah, I was like,
it doesn't make sense. But I was like,
and all the kids were clueless. It was like, are they best friends? I heard one of the kids say that, and I was like, man.
Here's my thing. If you want me to give that movie more than half a star on Letterboxd, let Jack Black kiss Jason Momoa in that movie at the end or something. You know? I would have been like, all right, you get 3 stars. Because why? Why is there so much sexual... Okay, but whatever. I don't want to talk about Minecraft anymore. I hate that movie. Clair Obscur is also getting its film adaptation. We literally know like 0 about it right now. I don't think it's a good idea. I think you should just leave it. Or if you're going to give a game like Clair Obscur it's a film, don't do Expedition 33. Give me... So if you don't know, in the game, there's a person... an entity named the Paintress who paints numbers on a monolith, and it's counting down, and each year it counts down. So when it's on 34 and it goes through that year, everybody at the age of 34 dies. Like Thanos dust disappears from the world. And so they send out expeditions to try to stop the Paintress. And I think the best way you do a Clair Obscur movie is you give me a different expedition. Like, you can literally take what makes Rogue One work so well in Star Wars and do that for Clair Obscur. Because, like, here's the thing. I haven't beaten Expedition 33. I have no idea how it ends. If it has a, like, fun, wholesome ending, which, just based off of the opening 10 minutes and the end of Act 1, I don't think it's going to have a very hopeful, fun ending. I think it's going to emotionally fucking scar me. But I know, because I've played Clair Obscur Expedition 33 until, like, I'm right at the end of Act 2, that all the expeditions clearly have something horrible happen to each of them. So, like, in my head going into it as a fan of the game, I know this is going to end horribly. But also, going into Rogue One back in 2016, I knew that this was going to probably end very badly because Rogue Squadron never shows up. They're mentioned in the originals, but, like, they're mentioned in a way that you're like, oh yeah, no, they're dead. And we're just getting to see that now. But I still feel so connected to every single person on Rogue Squadron. So I think you take that, what makes Rogue One work in Star Wars, and you just apply that to this movie. Give me a different expedition. Let me see what happened to them.
I think that is definitely the best way of handling something like this, because yeah, it could be like that, or it could pull you under the rug with just like JJK with you, because you were expecting a downer ending, and that's not what we got.
No, we got a shit ending. Oh, don't get me started on JJK, please. Don't get me started on JJK. Oh, I can't do it. I hate the longer I sit with that ending, the more and more I hate it. I'm like, you know, yeah, Akutami, we always knew, because he would always talk about how much he hated writing JJK, and he hated that story. But, like, we didn't really listen to him on that front. Like, he would say it, and we'd all just kind of make jokes about it. No, he, like, I genuinely, now I'm like, oh, this man really hated this. Like, brother, why did you keep writing? You could have just stopped. Like, you could have just been like, no, I'm done with this. Honestly, I think that would have been better. Maybe stop it, like, right at the end of, like, Colin Games arc or something. You know? Like, just stop it there. Like, you didn't have to keep going, boss. You could just be like, hey, I'm done. Fuck it. You know how many animes and mangas that we just don't have ends to? Fuck it.
Yep.
Like, what's another one? I would have much preferred to never have an ending to JJK than get what we got.
I definitely agree with that.
Sounds like you've been pretty busy watching movies, Aaron. And I think this episode's getting a little long, so we'll kind of... Oh, we're only about an hour. We can knock these out real quick. We both saw 2 movies recently. 2 movies that I think we both enjoyed. I actually don't know about the other one because I told you don't tell me any of your thoughts.
Yep.
But I know we liked this first one a lot. Ryan Coogler has a new movie called Sinners. With Michael B. Jordan playing twins. I'm going to let you take the floor on this. Give us the good, the bad, the ugly.
Okay, so Ryan Coogler's film Sinners is pretty much focusing on twins in Mississippi, of all places, during Jim Crow era, and there's your girl Haley Steinfeld as one of the love interests with twins, and a bunch of other great actors like Delroy Lindo is in this movie. It is paced very well. It has twists and turns and amazing dialogue. I just want to say that. Amazing dialogue. Bunch of quotables too, which I'll pass the mic to you on that one.
What, the quotables? Like what? I can't think of a single quotable.
I'm not going to say it.
Why do I have to say it?
A bunch of classic line. Because that is your lady. That's
not my lady. That's Josh Allen's lady. Poor Josh Allen. Let me just say that. Poor Josh Allen. That man had to go to that premiere and sit there in that theater to watch that movie and see Haley with Michael B. Jordan, not only in the movie, but on the red carpet. And every press I've seen of them together, one, I already know our boy Shamik Moore is in his room looking at his Haley's shrine, clenching his fist so tight.
He's punching the air right now.
Yeah, he's punching the air. Like, boy said, there's a lot more people to meet. No, Haley Steinfeld is absolutely phenomenal in this role, as she always is. Like, she's one of the best actresses there is. Michael B. Jordan does his fucking thing in this movie. But my standout person, can you, Aaron, just take a wild guess who you think my standout person in this movie is?
I'm gonna say Daryl Lindo, because he pretty much played a person that we all know and like.
Yeah. Main villain absolutely steals the show. Remick as a villain is so good, so effective. And as much as I love the music scene in the juke joint, it's beautifully shot. And like walking around, not only to see the past and future that he's bringing in for his own culture, but to see all the other cultures and their ancestors and their future. Like, it's incredible to watch. And then to see the building out there as it's burned down, and you can see inside, and you can see Remick standing there staring inside, and then he gets to have his own moment. This Irish vampire gets to have his own moment of dancing outside with his coven, and that scene absolutely steals the movie for me. It's so beautiful.
Yes, it is wonderfully shot. I am so surprised in the fact that Ryan Coogler said that he was inspired by Puss in Boots 2 of all movies for a lot of the visual aesthetics, and I was like, you know what? I see it.
Yeah, I get it. It makes sense.
And also the color direction. Oh my god, I will glaze all over this movie if I have to. But I will say that the movie's amazing. And also the ending made me want to wear Coogee sweaters again. I never thought I will see one in a movie. Now I need to go find a Coogee sweater and just put that on. And I don't care if I get called Onk in the street. I like Coogee sweaters. They were really cool back in the day, and they're still cool now.
Yeah, the ending is beautiful. I've seen, so my For You page on TikTok has shown me a lot of edits that people have done for when Michael B. Jordan says that he loves that day because that's the last time he saw the sun with his brother. And they intercut that moment with the end of Black Panther, and it's Killmonger and T'Challa sitting there looking at the sunset on Wakanda. Or sunrise. No, sunset. It's sunset.
Sunset.
And like,
yeah, I thought that was a good.
Because I saw somebody point out, and he was like, if Chadwick was still alive, I can guarantee Michael B. Jordan and Chadwick would have been like, they would have been just like, they would still say twins. Like, they would have just been the twins, those two.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first role that they played brothers in. They used to play brothers in Days of Our Lives. Fun fact.
I did not know that.
Yeah, back in the day, when they were very young. Yeah, it's crazy. So.
Yeah. So Sinners is absolutely beautiful, and also, just saying, I got to watch a movie where I watched a black man get to mow down a bunch of KKK members. So that was dope. That was really fun.
Yes, we need more movies with that.
But yeah, we could glaze this movie for probably like 3 hours if we wanted to. And I kind of want to, but also we got to keep it rolling to our next movie that we both saw that I think For me, because I don't know what Aaron thought about it yet, I told him to not tell me and wait because I wanted to hear it fresh on the podcast. But Thunderbolts absolutely surprised me. This is so Guardians is still my favorite post Endgame movie. Guardians 3. Thunderbolts is a insanely close second. Like, I could see a world where I just kind of flip-flop them, to be honest. Like, I watch one, I'm like, nope, this is the best post-Endgame movie. Nope, this is the post... Like, they're that close for me. Thunderbolts was a movie when it got announced. I saw the cast, and I go, oh, I'm watching this for Florence Pugh. Oh, I'm watching this for Sebastian Stan. That's about it. That's all I care about. Those two. I get more Bucky. Cool. We're good. I get more Yelena. Awesome. And, like, the trailers weren't selling me. Everything I was seeing just wasn't selling me for, like, the longest time. And then last year I saw, like, a TV clip or something that they released for it. I was like, you know what? Maybe. Because I was like, this could be, like, our next Winter Soldier. Because, like, Winter Soldier is still the best Captain America movie. It's still a top 5 MCU movie. It's like, this could be that again. It is, by the way, spoilers. Like, tonally, it matches, like, Winter Soldier. But more than anything, this is just a human story that just happens to have comic book characters. It's a movie about depression. Like, it is literally just characters dealing with their own depression. And it's so effective.
Yes, it is amazing how they were able to make that as the stakes. And instead of making it a world-ending event, it was more like a more internalized type story. I like how they talk about Yelena, and they talk a little bit about the Red Room, and it fills in that little piece that was missing in Black Widow. I wish we had that particular scene in Black Widow, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. I wish we could have saw what was Bucky's darkest secret, but I guess we already know what that secret was. So I guess
yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like they probably had something in, like, an early draft, but we're like, maybe this is a little redundant because we got to see so much of his so many flashbacks of his Winter Soldier days in Falcon vs. Soldier that I wonder if they were like, I don't need it, or like, we don't need it. I would have liked to see Ghost or, like, Red Guardian.
Well, we already saw Ghost. I did because I watched Ant-Man and Wasp.
I mean,
so
we
already saw what a worse day was.
Like it. Sorry, go ahead.
And then you gotta have Lawrence Fishburne in there, and it probably would have made the budget of the movie skyrocket.
Right.
There. So I guess that's why they kind of skipped that. Plus, Thunderbolts kind of opened doors to a lot of character motivations in other MCU projects. Like, if Thunderbolt stuff happened, it kind of changes the motivation of Kingpin. Just imagine, getting him stuck to the void, and then all of a sudden just came back, and he just had a vision of all those things that made him worry, and that's what made him go 10 toes down the next episode. Because if you think about it, his motivations kind of just shift.
I do want to,
and it kind of just adds context.
You bring up an excellent point. I need someone from Marvel to directly tell us where Thunderbolts lies with Daredevil Born Again. Because, listen, if they want to tell us that in the release order that we got them, that Daredevil Born Again Season 1 happens before Thunderbolts, cool, fine. If they tell us that Thunderbolts happens before Daredevil Born Again Season 1, what the fuck?
Well, the only clue that we got from Daredevil Born Again is that it takes place the same time as the Marvels, and we don't know when the Marvels takes place outside of after Secret Invasion. But yeah, and plus there's a time skip at the end of Thunderbolts, so I mean, like, Yeah. So
What is it, like
there's a whole
13
lot of
months?
space.
We should
Yeah.
also say spoilers for Thunderbolts.
Oh
Granted,
yeah, spoilers. Sorry
granted,
about that.
granted, fucking Marvel spoiled it, like a big part of the movie, 3 days after it came out. They literally put up the
Yes.
posters for the new Avengers 3 days later, and I was like, okay, so fuck people who just work 2 jobs or like work a bunch and can't go see it. Like, what are we doing here, Marvel?
Or they just look at the little joke of Avengers being copyrighted. Now that
Yeah.
was funny.
Yeah, I do like that. I do like learning that somehow the Avengers is a like copyright that Sam has control over now. Like I
Yeah.
did,
And apparently,
which makes me think because like the it brings up the question of did Sam himself copyright it, or was there a copyright by like Tony or Steve that then transferred to him, and like how did that play out, or did the government own the copyright? Like it just makes you go, who originally copyrighted this and then gave it over to
Oh.
Sam?
that is an easy question. Sam probably was trying to recruit She-Hulk, and She-Hulk probably just broke the fourth wall and just told him, "Oh, wow, have you watched the news?" And Sam was like, "Oh yeah, we're not gonna do this."
That would be funny. They probably
I
won't bring
think we're
back
gonna
She-Hulk,
have a small-
unfortunately.
Actually, I've been hearing different things. Plus, we're getting Shang-Chi, and plus, we need all those spaces filled out.
Yeah, that's true. Comic-Con's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
think
pretty
they'll
fun
bring
this
back.
year.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. Like, hopefully we'll see a trailer of Doomsday or more
I-
of Fantastic Four.
too
'Cause
early.
Fantastic Four. Oh, oh
They
yeah.
just
spoiler
started
alert,
filming.
well, it comes out in July.
What? Oh no, Doomsday. I was saying Doomsday would
Doomsday.
be too early.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and plus, Robert Downey Jr. kind of just told the stories he's influenced by, and that's got me really
Did he?
excited. Yeah,
What
because
story?
he showed it. It was the recent Jonathan Hickman Doom one shot with Sanford Green.
Okay.
With Doom going through time and trying to save the universe by himself. That's a really good Doom story to come with. It kind of just shows his motivations and everything. And plus, at first I was on the fence with Robert Downey Jr. playing a second character
Still
in
am.
the MCU, but after I seen Oppenheimer, I feel confident.
I just
His
don't like
role,
the
yeah.
idea of bringing RDJ back into the MCU like this, because like it just my problem with when he was announced to be Doom for this movie, my problem was this feels very safe of Marvel. Like your movies and shows have been kind of like very hit or miss. They're getting pretty bad scores, with the occasional one getting really good scores, but like everything just feels very up in the air. Then the Jonathan Major stuff happened with him not playing King anymore and like having to re-diverge everything, which just recast King, just do it. You didn't have to do all that.
I mean,
But
yeah,
anyway,
with that type of character, yeah.
so it just felt very safe to be like, oh look, we brought our golden boy back. See, come back to us, love us again. That's just the vibe it gives off, and I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just I want it to be good. I'll say that I want it to be good.
I know it's great because you got the Russos back, you got all those guys, and the writers. They're very passionate about it, so they're trying to make the best movie that they can. So I'm not worried about it. I'm hoping that Secret Wars is not a cameo fest like Deadpool and Wolverine was. Deadpool
Yeah.
Wolverine was. It served its purpose and it was cool.
Yeah, Deadpool
But it
Wolverine's
wasn't-
fun,
it
but
was-
like, yeah, you're right there.
It's off short from being fun to great, and Thunderbolts is that greatness factor that we should have got with Captain America. Captain America's fine for what it was. It's just
Still haven't
it was
watched
just
it.
missing a whole lot of it's like it's missing those aspects. There's characters missing, and plus it gives context to character motivations, and plus Thunderbolts kind of just fill in those holes. And now I can talk about Century. Let's talk about Century now.
Oh,
Because
Bob.
Century-
Oh, I just want to give him a hug, man.
Bob.
I just want to give him a hug. Like,
Oh man, Bob Robert is a very tortured character.
let me
Ever
just
since
say,
his inception of the comics.
I'm going through some shit right now, and so like, my mental state has probably been. I wouldn't say it's at the lowest it's ever been, but it's been damn near close recently with just some shit that's happened in life. And like, I saw Thunderbolts when it was really really bad a few weeks ago, and like, I was watching it with an old coworker, and me and him were just sitting there in the theater, and like the end scene, when he's just on top of the void, just punching the void over and over again, and Yelena finally breaks free, and she rushes over to him and hugs him, and then everybody slowly joins her. Dude, I was fucking crying. I was like moving away from my buddy, and I'm like trying to like carefully wipe my eyes so like he can't tell and shit. I was like, this shit hurt. I was like, that
Oh yeah,
hurt me. Just seeing someone
yes,
like
I was.
that's the way they're, because like sometimes with depression, like it's just the anger, it's the rage, and you want that rage gone. And so the best way to do it is to punch something, and just to see him not give a shit. But like he's doing the exact thing that depression and that darkness wants from him, and so it's absorbing him again. Like, oh, it hurts.
Yes, like when I saw it, people in the theater were crying. There was not a dry eye in that scene. Or when Yelena was talking with Red Guardian, she was like, "I am alone," and I'm like, "God,
Yeah,
that hurt."
yeah.
And I was like, I can relate to it. So I was like, man.
Can we just say one of
And
my
plus,
gripes with this movie is the fact that, like, yes, I absolutely love Florence Pugh, and I love Yelena. She's been one of my favorite additions since Endgame. I wish we would have gotten a little more ghost through, like, John Walker. Because, like, this feels more like Yelena's movie than anybody else's. Like, it should be titled Yelena and Bob. uh, what a fantastic film.
yes, the movie was very fantastic, and I think that that I hope that a lot of MCU fans will actually appreciate it more down the line. Because I'm hearing all these things and saying, "Oh, it's got the quirky humor." Unlike the other films, it didn't feel forced. It felt like these are actual people. And yeah, like I didn't want to feel some or U.S. agent, aka Walker. He was kind of a douche, and it's par for the course. And also, I like the fact that Bob was the only one that was able to physically harm him in the dream. Well, I was like, yeah, he was consistent on his dislike with Walker.
Yeah.
Had a
Getting
full axe to grind.
getting to see Walker again, and when he's introduced, he's still that douchey, arrogant, like, version of Captain America that we got in Falcon Winter Soldier. But like by the end of the movie, I was like, damn, John, maybe you can change. Like, maybe you got some good in you. Maybe you're there. I mean, you still killed a man, and you're in like cold blood on foreign soil. So like, and you're like, my problem is you're still defending that move, which is weird.
Yep,
And like,
that
my
is weird.
one of my only problems is they don't really like address that he's still defending it, or like have him like come around on it. It's just he kind of defends it a few times, but never like shows remorse for it. You're like, buddy,
Yeah,
buddy, you still did a really
and
bad thing.
yeah, and when he said "on your left," I cringed. I was like, "Man, you are no Steve Rogers. Get out of here."
You know what it did for me? So when he said "on your left," it brought me back to when in Falcon and Winter Soldier, when he picks up Sam and Bucky because they're walking on the road, and he looks at Sam and he goes, "I'm just trying to be the best Captain America I could be, and that would be a lot easier with Cap's wingman or Cap's sidekick or whatever." And Sam's like, "Oh, is that last line?" It gave me that vibe again, where it's like, you're 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 not understanding what you're doing wrong here. Like, you're not seeing it.
Yeah, and plus Walker gives me the vibe of that guy in high school that peaked in high school
Yeah,
and is yeah, and it's kind of cringy. But when we saw the flashback scene of the aftermath and seeing him lose his family, I was like, yeah, that happens a lot to military families, and I know that strike a chord with a lot of military folks I know. So
I hope Marvel looks at this movie and sees the scores that it's getting and sees the praise that it's getting from like people who did go and watch it, and they take the right message. That we've gotten to a point where you can't just always give us just giant superheroes flying and fighting things and like big CGI fest. You can't do that anymore. I think audiences are starting to kind of like grow a little bit now, especially with movies in the past, like in like just the past couple of years, like Everything Everywhere All at Once and stuff, getting massive success and like people talking and really interested in film again and like going to the theater, and even movies like The Wild Robot last year, like things like that. People are starting to kind of appreciate the more tight-knit and artistic films, and that's what this one is. Like it may be a comic book movie, but there's so much love baked into it. This and Sinners are my top two right now for this year. I love both of them so much.
I definitely agree with that take.
Before we move on to TV news, or not even news, just TV conversations, what score would you give out of 10? What score are you giving Sinners and Thunderbolts?
For Sinners, I will say a 9.3, and for Thunderbolts, I will say a 9, easily.
Yeah, mine are probably going to be pretty similar. I would give Sinners a 9.5, and then Thunderbolts I would also give a 9. Moving on though, not really any TV news, just a couple things have happened. We briefly mentioned Daredevil Born Again. We won't spend too much time on it. I just more or less just wanted to ask Aaron, what were your overall thoughts on Daredevil? Just kind of like a general consensus. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Were you indifferent?
Oh, I definitely loved the show. It was a good time. Episode 5 was fun. It gave me the feeling that the comics felt. So I appreciate that they put a lot of love into the care within the characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, we have general vibes. I absolutely loved watching Daredevil Born Again. Those last like 3 episodes, just insane. I got behind on it, and so I ended up binge watching the rest, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch one more, and then I'm gonna go do something else. Like I'm gonna go clean or something, get something done for the day. And then I just couldn't. Like I got to those final like 3 to 2 episodes, and I was like, nope, we're just gonna sit here and finish it. So, absolutely was worth the wait. Charlie Cox, as always, phenomenal. Also, if you didn't know, in Clair Obscur Expedition 33, he's phenomenal in it. So, it's Charlie Cox's year. Aaron, we never did release our roundtable for season 1 of The Last of Us, but since then we have gotten a new season of Last of Us. Well, actually, we just got a new episode last night that I still haven't watched, and then next week is the finale for season 2 of The Last of Us. They've changed quite a bit from the game, pacing wise, and just kind of restructuring, but also some character motivations have changed from the game. Now, I know you played the first game from when we did record our roundtable after season 1. I don't remember, did you play Last of Us Part 2 back in 2020?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not played Part 2, so I mean,
Gotcha.
I can't really compare the games with that. I've only seen scenes that they compare it to, and it gives me context to certain scenes in the show. I mean, like, it feels like the show did a lot better on certain things, but I gotta see the game in its full context to understand that.
Right.
And plus, I've been hearing a whole lot of hate and the hate train and all that.
Yeah. I've also been seeing a lot of hate. there was a TikTok live that came on my For You page the other day, and like I kind of like hopped in there real quick and was like listening to him talk, and a lot of what he had to say just I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Okay, whatever. So like there's a lot of hate that I just have seen that people, I would say, are making unnecessary hate or like forcing it, much like people do with Doji. Sorry, should have thrown that in there. But I've enjoyed it as someone who, I mean, Aaron, you know, I do not like Last of Us Part 2. I think it does a lot of things really bad. Its pacing, for instance, is its worst offense. So far, though, because you've been watching season 2, right? Like you're caught up and everything.
Yeah, I am caught up with season 2. Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. Yeah, I'm caught up. Just need to watch last night's episode still. Spoilers for those who have not played the game or have not been watching the show. Joel does go and meet God in part 2. In the game, it happens very much like in the show. It happens very, very early on in part 2's story. Part of my problem with where it happens in part 2 is it feels so sudden that it's done almost just purely off of shock value. I feel like most people who are sympathetic or like would care about humanity in any sense see what Joel does in part 1 and in the first season of like killing the doctors in the hospital and like going on that fucking just merciless killing spree. They see it as Joel being very selfish. It's part of the reason I love that moment so much is in a story like The Last of Us, where you're expecting the heroes, or at least you're presented heroes to do the right thing. Joel does the opposite. He does something for himself. He's like, I've already lost one daughter to this shit. I'm not losing another one. And he goes on a killing spree. He kills everybody in that hospital. He takes Ellie and then he lies to her and tells her they don't need you. They found others that are just like you. And so when we pick up with those two and they have this like a strange relationship now and we don't quite know why. And then all of a sudden, an hour into the part 2, as I'm still trying to like get back in touch with these two characters that I love so much, but there's just so much tension. It's hard for me to be like, I don't know who I should agree with or who I shouldn't agree with because I don't know why they're angry with each other. Joel just dies. And in the game, it happens very differently because Tommy is with Joel in the game. And Tommy says, I'm Tommy, this is my brother Joel. That's how Abby learns his name. Whereas I love that Dina is the one that goes with Joel. Because Dina is being presented as like a second daughter for Joel that's with Ellie. And Dina has no idea what Joel has done and what he did to save her. And so I love that she is the one with Joel. And unlike the game where Tommy says their names, I feel like Abby learning Joel's name is so much more organic in the show. Because to me, when you're introduced to Tommy and Joel in the game, just from my understanding of those characters when they're introduced, I don't think either of them should actually introduce themselves as their names because they don't trust anybody. Like, those are two guys that don't trust people. And so for Tommy just to say it outright like that, it just feels weird and out of place. But in the show, it's Dina just yelling at Joel and yelling his name to see like what's going on, if he's okay. And when we get to that moment, the way it plays out with Abby getting to tell Joel and having Caitlin Deaver does phenomenal in this scene of this long monologue, and she gets to explain to him, you fucked up. And I'm trained. Because she's basically a soldier. She goes, I'm trained. And we all are trained not to kill anybody unarmed. But sometimes you have to make an exception. And Pedro Pascal does something in that moment that is so important and so impactful for what happens next. And he does this little nod, almost agreeing with her. Because he also understands, as somebody who breaks his own rules that he was trained to use, she's right. And he also knows what's about to happen, he deserves. And it's almost his way of telling her, I get it. Do what you're gonna do. What you're doing is right. I've seen a lot of people say that they don't like that Abby just kind of says it out loud like that so early on, rather than in the game where you learn much later why Abby does what she does. But the problem in the game that I have with learning why Abby does what she does later on is it happens so late into the game. You, the player, have already built up so much hatred for this character that, like, I don't give a shit how good of a writer you think you are. You can't write that to make me care now about this character. So I love that she gets to have this monologue moment that isn't anywhere in the game. Because Caitlin Dever is a phenomenal actress and she kills it. Literally. Because then we get the moment that all video game fans that played part 2 knew was coming. She turns and looks at the golf club and she starts with the leg. Something interesting also changes. In the show, the golf club is broken, and so after a certain point, she is just beating Joel with her own fists. When Ellie shows up and finds it. And Ellie is incapacitated. She is hit so hard that she is definitely has probably a collapsed lung, thinking she's gonna die. But another problem I have with how they handle Joel dying in the game is she's knocked unconscious. So we get that moment where she screams at him to get up, but then she's kicked, knocked unconscious in the game, goes black. We pick up with her like a couple days later, and that's it. But in the show, they all leave after Abby stabs Joel in the neck with the broken golf club to finally kill him. And after they leave, Ellie's still awake, thinking she's gonna die, and she crawls to her dad and holds his hand. And the wheezing that you hear come from Ellie is so heartbreaking. Like, I was like, I get it now. Like, I'm much more invested in this than I was. The other thing I loved so much about that episode, and this is the last thing I'll say about Last of Us right now until the season's over and we do our full review of the entire season, was because Tommy isn't the one that goes with Joel in the show, Tommy stays back at Jackson. In the game, Jackson is still like hit by a wave of infected, but we don't see it in the game. We just hear about it later on from like other like NPCs in the world. We never get to see it, but now we get to, and it's so good. It reminds me of Lord of the Rings Battle of Helm's Deep. That is like the level of that battle in Last of Us Season 2, and it's so perfect. And we get to see all these defensive measures that Jackson has prepared. It just works. It makes Jackson feel more part of this story. Whereas in the game, I feel like you're in Jackson, then you're not in Jackson, it disappears. It's like, I want more. Give me more Jackson. Let me see it. Let me see how it all works together. And how they have all these different layers of defenses already prepared in their minds, so if something fails, they can just immediately go to the next. And we get to see how badass Tommy is. It's great. I'll talk. I think once the season's over, we'll both talk more about on a final review for an episode. But Aaron, I'm gonna pass it to you before we move on to our last segment. Anything to say so far about your experience watching season 2?
From just watching the show only and only seeing a little bit of the game, its pacing seems just fine. I think it's more of an emotional gut punch, and I like the fact that they're using flashbacks as a literary device for this season. So I ain't mad at it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So far, that's our first thoughts on Last of Us. Probably in the next couple weeks, we'll do an episode review for it. But let me get to our final segment of the show, our music section. Not a whole lot to talk about here because I thought about putting more, but there's really one topic that both of us just want to talk about. But I do just want to first say, Amine dropped a new album, 13 Months of Sunshine. Go listen to it. Absolutely amazing. I love the production. I love his performance on the album. And when it first started, I was like, oh, okay, this sounds like he's kind of just doing 2.5 again. But like, once you get to like about the halfway threshold of the album, it kind of flips. And I don't really want to say too much on it. I just kind of want you to go stream the album and listen to it and see what I mean. Because it's absolutely amazing. I love it. Anything to say about Amine's album before we get to the actual meat and bones of the music conversation, Aaron? Did you listen to it?
So I listened to only 2 tracks earlier today, so I'm still digesting a lot of the album. From what I heard so far, it's actually pretty good.
Okay. Perfect. I'm going to let you take away this, though. Joey Badass has returned because he keeps telling us in every single track he drops that he's back. But he's back to take on the West Coast because there's too much West Coast dick licking right now.
Oh, yeah, he quoted that infamous Jay-Z line. So, yeah, he said that on the Lulu's back, and apparently a lot of people on the West Coast did not take that very well. So the first couple battles with Daylight, he kind of just said, we love the East Coast. We don't have any hate for you. So that, and then Joey kind of doubles down, and then he doubled down again, and then more West Coast artists are popping up, and then all of a sudden CJ Fly comes in with a forgettable diss, and now disses are flying back and forth, and it seems like every hour, like right now during our podcast, CJ Fly just released another track, and I need to listen to that.
Oh my goodness!
So it is. So it's still ongoing.
For me right now, like the ones I care about from hearing from, because like when it comes to diss battles, oftentimes some of the artists you can kind of just like tune out because you're like, oh man, okay, we've hit a point where it's like these are the ones I'm waiting to hear from. So for me right now, I have it on my notes, but it's really Joey versus Ray versus Daylight versus Reason. Like that's kind of like the core group that I'm really interested to hear from, because I think I told you when last week Joey did the cypher where he shot directly at Daylight and Ray. Ray dropped a day later with what's it called, Hoera, which originally when I first heard it I was like, he's got some good bars. I mean, the how did you let Ice Spice become the king of New York bar is really good. It's a good shot because, yeah. I mean, to be fair, right now, who is really popping like that on the East Coast? Like, the East Coast doesn't really have a singular standout artist currently. Whereas, like, on the West, last year, the West was killing it. And even still, like, the West is killing it.
Yeah,
so,
like a lot of the East Coast rappers are either doing their own thing or podcasting or doing other ventures, and I can't be mad at that, but at the same time it's like they can't say that they're dominating the airwaves right now.
Yeah. And so it felt really weird for me to see like Joey come out here and starting this shit, because it's like, Joey, you might want to get your coast on the same page here. Like, you're entering a battle with rappers, and your side doesn't really have any concrete people. But
Yeah, he don't have anybody like on his back. He's kind of just going in. I guess the analogy for our gamer folks is like you on a team, and then there's this one guy that's just going on his own, just fighting the other side by himself. And you know he's gonna get destroyed, but you know it's kind of entertaining to watch.
yeah, but Joey's holding his own. I mean, as I think we all knew he would. It's Joey Badass. Like, he's holding his own. He's doing a really great job. I don't think I've hated any of his diss tracks that he's dropped. They've all been great. Ray Vaughn's most recent one, the Ho Era, that one's growing on me a lot. It has very, like, not like us energy. Like, Ray definitely was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fire back to you, and the next day, I'm gonna give a bop. Like, I'm gonna give something that people are gonna want to play over and over again. Which, shout out to Ray Vaughn, because he also dropped that shit on streaming. Which sometimes I hate about diss battles, because like they're not always dropped on like DSPs. But Ray Vaughn did it. Same with Reason. Reason's diss track was really good. The Daylight one that you sent me today, that was solid. I think Daylight could have done better in it. He has some good bars. The South Park one is really good. About if you shoot at Kenny, you're not going to be able to kill him, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and also he did CJ Fly's flow towards the second half, which I didn't post that part, but yeah, he kind of just did his whole flow and did a hilarious interpretation. And then CJ Fly just posted Stingray, and then all of a sudden,
yeah, I still need to listen to that.
Curtis King dropped, and then Punch dropped, and then I was talking to Punch about it, and then all this stuff is happening in real time, and I was like, hey, hold up, I gotta
record. But I mean, right now, I mean, there's a couple tracks I still need to listen to. Just as of right now, though, with the tracks I have digested, obviously nothing too like scathing, or like nobody's come for anybody's throats yet. So far, it's just from what I've heard from most of the tracks, it's just shooting shots. You know, hey, I think we're the best. I think I'm the best. It's competition. It's rap. Like, this is what rap is. Rap is a fucking sport. If you're gonna tout that you're the best, and somebody steps to you, you better be ready to prove it. So it's just been really fun.
Nobody has pulled a lame move like Drake has. Like,
yeah,
nobody's done that. So I'm pretty happy that everybody is kind of like not going below the belt. And Ray Vaughn's line about Conductor Williams was kind of funny, because it seems like every time I hear Conductor Williams collaborate with somebody, they're dissing Kendrick, and I'm like, man,
that's true.
Conductor, you can't beat the allegations now. This is the third artist that done that. Third.
What if
Third.
It's none of these artists that have beef with Kendrick? It's just Conductor, and he's just like, hey, I'm gonna give you a beat, but you have to diss Kendrick. Like, behind the scenes, Conductor's just like, I'm gonna give it to you. You don't have to pay me as long as you make it a diss against Kendrick. And they're like, fuck. All right, I want the beat.
Oh man, but
do you think?
Wise,
sorry, do you think Kendrick's gonna respond? He's on tour right now, so
he's on tour, like, and plus he just was in the studio with Baby Keem in New York. He's busy trying to promote this movie with South Park. I mean, he busy. He don't got the time right now.
That's fair.
Unless he just do a freestyle on stage.
Last year he popped out, and I mean, in hindsight, he probably was pretty busy when he popped out last year and fired at Drake. I just want another Kendrick diss track. I want another Euphoria. I want Euphoria Part 2. That's all I want.
Oh, so some trivia. So I mentioned this privately with you, but Punch has said publicly now, so I can actually tell you that Kendrick had a 20-minute version of Euphoria, and what we got was just an edited version of everything that was said. From what I have heard, it could have been a lot worse. If you would have heard it, you would have been like, oh, this could have got real ugly real quick.
Damn, I just want to like relive that night, that Friday night one more time. Cause like
May the 4th, 2024? Yes.
Waking up that morning at like 7 o'clock, jumping on the timeline to see Kendrick trending. I'm like, okay, why is he trending? I was like, is he actually trending, or is this my like trending tab, you know? And then I clicked on it, 616 in LA. I was like, the fuck is 616 in LA? And I opened Instagram. First post I see is Kendrick Lamar, 616 in LA. I was like, motherfucker. This man went back to back. He stole Drake's thing. And then I was like, well, he told us he was going to get back to that. And so I listened to it, went to work, came home, and I knew I was going to have to wake up the next morning to be at work because I was at the bank still. And so I knew I had to be to work early.
And and then I hit you
I'm
up
gaming.
With Family Matters.
Yeah, you hit me up with Family. What was funny is you hit me up, and like right at the same time, my other buddy hit me up at the same exact time about Family Matters. And I was like, motherfucker. And I was gaming with people on Overwatch. And me and one of the other people playing Overwatch, we just stopped playing, went mute in the Discord call, came back, and I went, oh, this shit's serious. And I was like, hold on.
Came back to me and said,
and then I was like, yo, I was like, Kendrick dropped. And you're like, no, he didn't. I was like, Kendrick dropped. Kendrick fucking dropped. But like, I remember, I was halfway through my second listen. No, my third listen. Because I was like, hey guys, I'm going to mute one more time. I'm going to re-listen to Family Matters. Because like, I wasn't fucking with the first part of Family Matters, but I was fucking with the second and third. And I was like, I'm going to re-listen. And so I'm listening. I make it through one more time. I'm like, okay, no, this is Drake. Like, Drake is rapping again. Like, he is rapping. And so I start listening one more time, and I'm like halfway through. I'm in the like black and white spot of Family Matters, and then boom, I get a notification from YouTube. Meet the Grams, Kendrick Lamar, and I went, brother, what? I was like, it's been 30 minutes. No, there's no way. There's no fucking way. I was like, I don't give a shit how good you are. You cannot mix and master something that fucking quick. I was like, it's okay. Before I listened, I was like, it's not going to address Family Matters. I was like, it's not. But also, that makes me even more curious to know what the fuck he would have pre-recorded. And I went, Drake, you got to shoot this motherfucker. I was like, Drake, you got to send Chubbs to shoot him. Like,
and actually, also like, and the fact that 2 hours after Meet the Grams drop, he dropped Not Like Us with no copyright, so everybody just ate it up.
No, it wasn't 2. It was a day later because it was Saturday. I remember. Yeah, it was a day later. It was that Saturday because I went over and I went over to see my mother and some like family friends and stuff when we were sitting out on the porch, and I got the notification on YouTube that Kendrick dropped. Or no, my buddy texted me saying Kendrick dropped, and I said, you're fucking lying. And I was like, brother, I'm not even home. I'm at my mother's right now. He's like, bro, you gotta listen. I was like, fuck. And so I literally got up from my chair, and my mom was like, where you going? And I was like, Kendrick dropped. And I just walked inside, walked into her office, and I just sat there just playing Not Like Us, and I played it like 4 times before I walked back out on the balcony. I was like...
And then, like, a day later, Drake dropped, and it was, like, the most self-hating, self-defeated type thing. And it's like, he got Mom, I Sober so badly, and I'm like...
It's the second song in that battle that he proved to us he doesn't listen to rap. Because if you remember, in Family Matters, he says... your daddy got robbed by Top. No, he didn't. Did you listen? You listen to Duckworth? Like, no, he didn't. The whole point of Duckworth is he didn't rob. Top did not rob his dad, and in fact, his dad literally became friends with Top. Over what was it? Fried chicken? I don't remember where he was working. It was a KFC, right?
Yeah, he was KFC. Yeah,
fried
chicken.
2 extra biscuits.
Yeah. And like the whole point of Duckworth is Kendrick telling you how his life could have been if Top would have shot his dad and killed his dad. Like,
Yep.
So you got that song wrong, and then you proved to us that you also don't listen because you got Mother I Sober wrong, which Mother I Sober is even more clear about its messaging than Duckworth is.
Yep.
Like I could let the whole like misunderstanding Duckworth thing slide, but Mother I Sober? Nah. That's just very apparent.
And also like
It's literally
when I
about
was
how his
listening
mom
to
just
Not Like
wouldn't
Us-
believe him.
Yeah, and when I was listening to Not Like Us, and that when he said the 2 Chainz say you good, but he lied, and I was like, wait a minute, 2 Chainz has a song called No Lie with Drake, and I was like, damn, he kind of gave certain subtext bars.
Yeah.
Like I just I was like I went into a deep rabbit hole with GNX, and I was listening to TV Off, and I was like, why does that sound familiar? And then I remembered that Kendrick Lamar was in the California Love music video when he was a kid.
Yep.
And you want to know something about that?
What?
Chris Tucker did the introduction, and he said mustard the same way Kendrick said on that song.
You think that was intent? Here's the thing, because like I understand a lot of like Kendrick fans do sometimes blow shit out of proportion. Do you think?
Oh no, and
Do you think
and
that Kendrick
also-
actually intended to like make that a callback, or do you think it just like subconsciously,
I think-
like his subconscious just kind of remembers it, so that's how he said it?
I think that was intentional because he was in the California Love music video with his dad and Top.
Right.
He was in both music videos, by the way. Both.
I never realized that he says mustard the same way.
Yeah, he says mustard the same way. If you watch the music video and you see the introduction scene with Chris Tucker, he was like, introducing mustard, and everybody just lost their mind. And then
'Cause, like,
3
that
seconds
just-
after that scene,
When GNX
see
dropped,
Kendrick
that
get-
moment TV Off just became a meme. Like everybody just like laughing about like, why the fuck this man screaming mustard. So if that's true, like that's literally why Kendrick screams mother.
yes, it is a Chris Tucker reference and a California Love reference, and it's like, damn, his memory does go back. That is yeah, and then
That makes you
know,
go,
that
damn.
he-
I think I believe this man that he once was visited by Tupac's ghost when he was sleeping. Still the craziest shit I've ever heard Kendrick say. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the first time I watched that interview and I heard Kendrick say that, I was like, wait, stop it. Like, stop. Fucking
Yeah,
stop.
Kendrick's path was it was meant to be with him. So
No, but
yeah,
but I bring up last year's battle, specifically one because that night was so historic, but also that last week when the Red Bull Cypher, Reason, and Ray all dropped in the span of 3 days, that was the same feeling I got. Just like, oh, let's go, we're in this shit now. Like this is a real rap battle. This is real beef.
it is a real rap battle without all the insanity. And now I understand with Jay-Z and Nas, that whole thing. Like, except with that, it was like a month's wait. With this was like days apart. So
Yeah.
now I understand that feeling that they all had. Because I was only a kid when these events happened. Now as an adult, now I understand what the old heads were talking about.
So yeah, hope it stays rap. I think both of us do. I think we both just wanted to stay rap. Just keep it competition. This doesn't have to get dirty. And I'm excited to see what happens next.
I mean, Rayvon kind of.
Rayvon sounds
He
like
didn't
he's
go below
ready
the
to.
belt.
He sounds like he's ready
Yeah,
to
he's
take it
ready.
there.
Yeah, but he did mention Joey Bada's baby moms that he did. wrote a
That's
song for
true.
her, which is true. That is true.
Yeah, but he's got to
is
be
true.
careful
But I mean,
because
it's-
if like that's the same reason Kendrick said, "All right, bet," because Drake mentioned Whitney. He had the bar about I'll be with some bodyguards like Whitney, and he was like, "Hey man, you don't want to go there. Like keep it
And
friendly."
then the Day Free line, and I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, and then Drake just doubling down and trying to insinuate that Dave Free is actually the father of one of his kids, and Kendrick was like, "All right, boy, I'm posting the nuke. I'm dropping it."
Yep. And that he's got more nukes tucked in. That 20-minute version of Euphoria still hasn't.
How many
dropped,
stocks do I really got in
none of
stock?
the lines. Yeah, he's got some lines. There's some crazy lines. I think one of the ones that I can remember was insinuate. I think it was an Aaliyah line, and it was just ooh. I remember my reaction.
I got beef with Kendrick right now because that man's on tour and he keeps coming out on tour to Bodies. Well, we don't actually know the title, but like the GNX snippet that he dropped, he keeps performing that shit on tour. I'm like, motherfucker, stop it. You're just fucking with us at this point. Just drop the song, man. Like, it's one of the hardest fucking things you've done in your career. Just drop it. Just give that shit to me already.
Yeah, I think he's about to drop a untitled, mastered style album. Or EP or something like that. I think that's the path that's going.
Instead of like doing a GNX Deluxe.
Yeah, because he released shortly after GMX like a throwback track that never came out.
Because my buddy texted me about it because we both had never heard it before because it like you had to like download it allegedly and stuff. And so we both were like, what the fuck is this? And he dropped it on his like other like basically like burner ass account on Spotify. I don't remember the name.
Yeah, King Kendrick. That's
no, it's not. Account. No, it's not that. There's a different.
Not
thing.
That one.
No.
Or Jojo Ruski.
No, that's his burner Insta. Juju Ruski is his burner Insta. That's his.
Yeah, the more.
Oh, it's gonna kill me that I'm not gonna think about it.
Oh, we'll figure it out.
Anyways, we are sitting about 2 hours on the episode. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. We'll see what happens next in this Joey v fucking West Coast that's happening right now. We'll see if Joey gets any of the East Coast to back him. Hey, Joey, I'm just saying, don't call Ice Spice, please, for the love of God. I don't need to hear her anymore. But if you need,
got CJ Fly.
Listen, if TDE is gonna throw in an like up and coming, not well known artist that they have, if you want to pull an East Coast artist that's not that well known, Lexa Gates is right there, and she can bar. She's got bars. I don't know if you listened to her album last year. She can rap.
Oh, I did.
So I'm just saying, like, Joey, if you want some backup in this shit, and you know, even the playing field a little bit, show that the East really still got
Absol just dropped.
No, he didn't. You're fucking lying.
Absol. Well, actually, a couple days ago with Mark Rossiano. Oh, okay. That's just a repost.
Okay, I was like,
that was a repost. Never mind. But yeah, that one I'm actually excited about because he's got a project with Rock Marciano coming up with just those types of beats. So nice. I'll be curious to hear what that sounds like.
I was like, if Absol enters this shit after like,
oh, he kind of did with that Red Bull. Well, cipher.
Kind of, but like, to me, it's still him kind of like, because it's just nothing but like a little playful banter of him like, all right, hey, chill. Like, those are still my guys. Like, he may not be like with TDE, but like, he's like, those are still my guys. Like, chill. So, I don't know. I don't think Soul is really like in it yet. But if he drops, whew, things are going to get interesting. But I'm going to give you the floor first, Aaron. Closing statements for the return of Demented Cast.
Oh, man, I am excited. Apologies for the long delays. You know, life got in the way. Please go buy Nomad's amazing book. It is great.
Is that you smacking it? Are you like holding it? Were you like patting on it?
Yes.
Okay. I thought that's what I was like, is this man just like patting his desk or his legs? What is that?
No, I was patting the book because I'm holding it.
It's awesome.
I wish I had the camera on, but honestly,
I really hope that your main character 10 gets it together. Like 10 is a very interesting character. I'm excited to see where your saga is gonna go. Also, fun fact, I did the cover for it, so
And
that's another fun fact. And
he might have technically already done the cover for book 2. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah,
There was an old version for the book 1 that might have been repurposed.
Yeah, because it makes sense with book 2. So I'm excited about what happens in book 2. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. We didn't even talk about the Legend of Aang.
Oh fuck! Next time.
Well,
there's not a whole lot of news drop. It just got delayed. We got the first logo. It wasn't a whole lot of news.
Yeah. Plus, I'm gonna see Dante Bosco at Ranger Pop and Shop in a few weeks. So hopefully
Nice.
I'll ask him some questions right over there.
When you do, shit. I wish I could get you
You wanna
another
do-
copy. I was gonna tell you to.
I'll probably
hand
get him to hand him a copy of the book.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, hand him a copy of the book. Be like, hey, just so you know,
Alright,
you probably don't remember the guy, but you met him in Dallas one year. You shouted out his podcast, and he also was telling you about his cat named Azula. Probably doesn't even
He's got a
remember
good
that.
memory from what I can. Yeah, I think he's got a good memory. Plus, you never know. He might just talk about more about the Legend of Aang like he did last year. So I wonder if they just finished the recording process and they're letting Studio Mer finish that up. So
All I can say is about the next book, or not the next book. Book 3 is Think Zuko in book 3.
Zuko in book 3.
Mhm.
So I'm excited to see the future of Demented Cast because there's a whole lot of stuff dropping and we're gonna be consistent on it. So hopefully we'll have more episodes down the can. Hopefully we'll have more guests in the future because
Yeah. I want to start doing interviews again.
because I would love to have Homeless Girl here and just shoot the chat with her and also with Ethos because this game out yet?
Nope.
Samurai Zero.
Nope. Because what I want to do is I want to wait until it gets closer to him, like launching the game, and then ask him to come back on to do another interview.
All right, because I'm really hyped. I played a little bit of the beta, so I'm excited for that. Also, we're excited to talk about more shows. Once Last of Us Season 2 wraps up, we'll be able to talk more about it.
The Bear season 4 comes out in June. Excited to talk about that.
Oh man, I still haven't watched The Bear yet. I've been hearing so many good things. Like I said,
So good.
I'm tripping. I got a Hulu subscription already, and I still haven't even watched it. And plus, there's like a new Gumball series that's premiering this August. Like, so much good stuff dropping.
Yeah. So, I think it's the perfect time to bring back Demented Cast. It's gonna be a fun year.
Yes, perfect time.
All right. My closing statement, I'm just going to say, hey, make sure you follow the podcast. Make sure to rate us 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. It really does help us just grow, like get our podcast to get shown out more, bringing in new listeners. We're back. We're going to be more consistent than we were last time because this is something I have always felt very passionate about, and I want to see it become something. So I appreciate everybody that listened to the end. Make sure to share it with people and go buy a book. You can buy them on Barnes & Noble. It's The Ancients Book 1. There's many, many more to come in that series. And I got a little something cooking for end of the summer. Not with The Ancients, just another story. So, until next time.